Okay, you lovely people. Since I didn't get a comment on my previous video, I'm going to start saying like, subscribe, and comment. Anyway, welcome to the second creepypasta for this month, and final one for this month. It's going to be a very hectic ride, but hey, it's worth it. I was considering doing SpongeBob's suicide, but I'm going to wait until later. Anyway, today we have the truth behind the Rugrats. Now this is a theory pasta, which is pretty much BS. You know, even though 1999 was somewhat believable, it doesn't have actual evidence online. So, so let's get into the creepypasta I have up here. The Rugrats theory. The Rugrats were... Okay, wait a minute. 3, 2, 1, go. The Rugrats really were a figment of Angelica's demonic and unimaginable imagination. What? Those two words directly contradict each other. Unimaginable and imagination. Are you okay? Chucky died in 1988 along with his mother. That's why Chaz is a nervous wreck. It keeps doing that. Anyway, Tommy was born in 1988, but he was a stillborn. That's why Stu is constantly in the basement making toys for the son he never had a chance to live. The Vales had an abortion in 1990. Angelica couldn't figure out whether it be a boy or a girl, thus creating the twins. Okay, the story so far has nonsense in it. Okay, unlike another creepypasta I know, it doesn't do shit like this. Unimaginable imagination. That doesn't make sense. Well, it's basically having the Rugrats all die. It does make sense somewhat, but it doesn't. And Bill and Will's parents basically had an abortion, which is basically not a big deal to me. But it's a deal to many other people. Sorry about the background noises. It's just really bad. Anyway, it's the twins. Okay, so far this is that. As we're all grown up, the teenage Angelica became addicted to various narcotics, which further aggravated her schizophrenia, bringing her back to her childhood. Thus, her creations she obsessed over. Because the time lapse between the present and the last time she interacted, creations, she made them older. Okay, that the schizophrenia part is offensive. Well, not really offensive. It doesn't make sense. They didn't mention schizophrenia in the show, or having a mental illness of some kind. Angelica was constantly taking hits of acid, so she would never have to live with our creations who were her only company. In the judgmental world, Angelica's mom actually died of a heroin 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 overdose in 1982, just after Angelica was born, and due in his depression, married a digger that Angelica idolized because she fooled herself into thinking it was her real mom, but always had a concept of her mom. So basically, Angelica's mother is not really her mother. That's a weird theory, but I don't see any evidence for all this. It's just like the Teletubbies the truth, but sounds more more stupid. And putting drugs in their mental illness for just for the sake of having a story. That's not how you make a story. You have to take those those ideas, those concepts, and expand onto them. Not just say, oh, she she has this and this. It's not a good story. Anyway, Sophia. Wait a minute. That was a period. That wasn't a period. Safina and took a Barbie doll and made it after her mom's image, wearing an unwashed orange dress and having jacked up hair, which is why she was so attached to it. Later in life, she followed in her mom's footsteps with drugs and everything, dying of overdose at age 13 when All Grown Up was canceled. Okay, that's sad. Angelica doesn't seem like the person to do that. It just doesn't seem like her. And then it's going into saying, oh, that's not proof. You need to prove your evidence with supporting details, not just mash them together. It's not even a theory anymore. It's just a conspiracy theory. It just is. The only Rugrat not to be fictional, however, was unborn Tommy's brother Dill. Hold on. Anyway, let's get back to the story here. However, Angelica did not know the difference between Dill and her creations, although Dill did not follow her commands. After endless crying, and a refusal to disappear like the others did, when Angelica was angry with him, she hit him. Oh, we're going with child abuse now. Oh, wait. That's no. We got drugs, child abuse, child abuse. Now everything under the sun. It just does not make sense so far, anyway. Theory is just so. It's so stupid. Squidward Suicide had more sense than this. But it also did use children as a shock factor. The murdering of children, anyway. Due to this, he sustained a brain hemorrhage, which resulted in a deformation. As he grew up, his damage only became more evident, and by the time he was 9 and all grown up, he lived as an outcast, being ridiculed for his weirdness and specialness. The immense guilt over this is what led Angelica to her drug use and is what led Angelica to uncreate the Rugrats briefly until her experience with hallucinogenics. Wow, that's sad. Still being special, special needs. That's a plot twist. Anyway, on a trip to Paris to find love, Chaz married a woman named Kira. He was actually going to marry a different woman named Coco, but she just wanted him for his money. Who had a daughter named Kimmy that was torn from her because she was a cocaine addict. He lost his mind after the death of his wife and was in denial that she was even a prostitute to begin with. Upon return to the to to America. Okay, now there's an utter grammar error there. Chaz and Kira married and she got her green card. It was actually a really happy and romantic story. Kira continually struggled with addiction, but was relatively happy with her new life in Chaz. Okay, this is this story is still terrible. Susie, Susie was actually Angelica's only friend, who entertained the thought of Angelica's creations for her sake. Angelica spent the last days of her life in the back of the school cafeteria, imagining friends around her and playing with the lives of her creations. Okay, that was depressing. This is not good. It was still better than. No, it wasn't. It's still terrible. The mention of child abuse, drugs, having a child taken away from her mother. Not happy. It is a horrible story. Nothing good about it whatsoever. All it does is just make you wonder how stupid a creator this pasta is. Even if this story is good, it's not good. All it does is cause pain and suffering to anybody that reads, that has experience with those issues. That's depressing. That's not how you create a theory pasta. This is how you create a theory pasta. Have original ideas that make sense. Watch the actual series and come back to me when you have a better story. This Creepypasta was bad. I wonder why it's popular among some people. It just doesn't make sense. Squid suicide made some sense, but it just doesn't. What I mean by that is it's bad. The Squidward Suicide is still the worst thing I've ever read. But the Rugrats theory takes a close second. Anyway, pretty soon I'll be doing my third Let's Play, which will be a Kirby game. You're pretty sure, I'm pretty sure you know what it is. Because I said it in my previous video. It is Kirby's Return to Dreamland. And what do I give a rating on this creepypasta? A 0 out of 10. The theory doesn't make sense. The writer doesn't know anything about the show except for the spinoff. Well, okay, the writer knows some things, but it they don't. I'm not expecting a very huge, massive theory here. I just want a story that makes sense. Okay? So, next time, I'll be seeing you on the Nintendo Wii for my new Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland. And oh, it's gonna be good. I'm pretty sure even though that most of them already done it by this point. So, see you next time. I'm War Phantom's Hub. Like, subscribe, and comment. You finding my videos is 1,000%. So, yeah. See you guys next time. And